So I'm going to conclude, maybe 2 minutes late, but hopefully you'll bear with me. So these injections, we've treated 165 patients now. It's more than anybody else in the United States, probably more than anybody else in the world, but Zaire might object. I'm not sure what his number is, it's close. We've been treating people with heart failure and peripheral vascular disease. And we want to begin a study in strokes very shortly with one of our speakers to come up, Dr. Savitz. But we found it to be safe. We have not seen any harm. Patients go home the next day. If the cells can reproduce themselves, they'll help that heart. And we've now studied each of the specific adult stem cells. We started with a bone marrow pool, but we've progressed to treat with mesenchymal cells, promesenchymal cells, CD34 positive cells, cells overexpressing aldehyde dehydrogenase, which markedly improve blood flow, by the way, each one of them in humans. And they all improve blood flow to the heart if they're functional. And the CD34 positive cells are capable of the differentiation I've shown you. One other thing has become apparent in the studies. I couldn't give you my bone marrow pool of cells. I'm not sure you'd want them anyway. But I couldn't give them to you to try to help your heart. You'd reject them. But there is one adult human cell. It's a mesenchymal cell, or its precursor, promesenchymal cell, that you could give me yours and I would not reject them. They're immunologically privileged. It's the only one I know of. That means in the older people, one can go to younger people, Olympians and others, harvest their mesenchymal or pre-mesenchymal cells and use them in the treatment of older people. And we're doing that. We're deep into some studies with them. They're not rejected. The bad news about those cells is they primarily improve blood flow rather than becoming new heart muscle cells. But we have a brand new development, and I'll stop with this. Very recently, working with Robert Schwartz, a very fine scientist at the Texas Heart Institute, we've been able to take a biopsy of your skin from your hand, put it into culture. We know the 4 genes that are critical in the development of a heart muscle cell. Remember what I told you when I began? If we knew the signals by which our maker engineered the development of the original stem cells into being heart cells, brain cells, and so on, we'd regenerate every organ in the body. We know the 4 genes that are involved in heart muscle cells and a lot about their interaction. So if we treat a skin cell, it's a fibroblast, biopsy from your hand, with 4 genes involved in becoming a heart muscle cell, introducing them with a virus, a non-toxic virus, although we want to make this introduction with proteins rather than virus. We're close. Within 2 to 7 weeks, what were previously skin cells, fibroblasts, which are spindle-shaped, and are there any dermatologists in the audience? Hope not. I think rather bored. They sit still, don't do much. When one treats them with the genes involved in becoming a heart muscle cell, in 2 to 7 weeks, they round up in cultures and contract with me. And they express every gene of a heart muscle cell. Your own bank of heart muscle cells. Now, if you do that for heart muscle cells, you surely can do it for the electrical system of the heart, the valve tissue of the heart, the fibroskeleton. See where it's going? And we're at work with bioscientists at Rice with a goal. Our goal is regenerating the whole heart. The rest of this is patchwork along the way. I'm really honored to be here. And I get a bit emotional in seeing people like you who are so supportive of this important development. In the last session, Rick, I went to leaders of the legislature and proposed just what Senator Watson proposed as he talked. We create for the state of Texas funding, probably less than was generated for cancer, but adequate funding. I suggested $100 million. It would be used to support this kind of research in Texas. At the Texas Heart Institute, we have a leadership position in the United States in treating heart and vascular disease. Well, we've got formidable competition. We have a group of about 20 people working hard. You know how many there are in the Harvard Stem Cell Center in Boston? Between 500 and 1,000. And they have a lot of support. We're beating them. Jim, we'll stay there with your help. But we do need the state to really be supportive of this. I think Senator Watson's absolutely right. I was told we've like to do it. It's too expensive right now. But we'll help in smaller ways. And the legislature did, and we're very, very grateful for that. This is not a very good session to be asking for something like that. But I hope we can begin to work for the future of Texas and this enormous development in care. People will get out of wheelchairs and walk. People's strokes, if we can get to them early enough with the right cells, engineered or native, or maybe embryonic in some cases, will recover. People with dementia will recover. People with diabetes will be cured. Thanks for inviting me.